In the Auckland studio is the Labour leader, Andrew Little. Thank you very much for making the effort and coming into the studio. We appreciate that. Now, you oppose the extension of this deployment. Why?
For the same reason we oppose the deployment in the first place, which is that propping up the Iraqi army isn't contributing a great deal. If you look at the efforts to repel ISIS in Iraq over the last few months, the heavy lifting has been done by a number of other outfits, the counter-terrorism service, the Shia militias and the Kurds. The Iraqi army's contribution has actually been pretty limited. And the reason for that is the Iraqi army it's poorly led. They do need a lot of training, and we're doing a very good job training them, but they're not really equipped to take on a major conflict such as is happening right now.
If we're doing a good job training them, then why shouldn't we continue to do that?
Well, as I said, the Iraqi army is not making a huge contribution to repelling ISIS. It's being left up to those others. The Iraqi army typically comes in, does a bit of cleanup, holds the fort once the hard work has been done. That's what they're doing. But we have a long way to go, or at least the Iraqi army has a long way to go for that army to be properly prepared and in a position to conduct a major battle.
Because it looks from the outside, and you say major battles, they've just raised the national flag in Fallujah, which was the first city taken in this whole sweep 2 years ago. There's a major battle planned for Mosul. It looks from the outside like some progress is being made, taking territory off IS, and New Zealand has helped train 7,000 troops. You say they're doing a good job. You've been there yourself. You've praised their skill and professionalism. Why shouldn't they continue their work?
Because the forces who are actually doing taking cities, creating the beachhead, raising the flag, it's not the Iraqi army. There's the counter-terrorism service, which is the Iraqi government outfit, but it's nothing to do with the army. Different command structure, different officers, and then it's all the Shia militias, and the Kurds, of course. And so they are doing the heavy lifting. The Iraqi army comes in as a kind of a second phase or a second stage. The issue, I think, is even when I was there watching the Iraqi forces being trained, the frontline troops, listen, good people, but the reality is the officers who are leading them are not capable.
And are they irredeemable? I mean, if they're not capable, that would be a reason for training them.
Let me give you an example. So when I was there, a New Zealand officer was telling me that they had a division of 1,000 troops were meant to come in for training. 250 turned up because the officers, half of the officers decided that they didn't need to be there, so they didn't turn up, so the troops didn't turn up.
You think it's a wasted cause then?
Yes, I mean, we said from the outset that the Iraqi army has, even after 10 years or more training by the Americans and various others, they still were unable to mount, a real fighting force. And listen, noble effort to try and kind of get them up to speed, but the real heavy lifting and what's happening in Iraq at the moment and repelling ISIS is being done by others.
So you'd pull them out. If you were elected Prime Minister in 2017, they're out.
The difficulty with making a definitive statement about that is I don't know what the situation is going to be in 2017. And when I was up there talking to the American generals, I asked them the question. I said, what happens after Mosul? And they said, we don't know. And the biggest threat then is that the place descends into civil war.
Yeah, sure, but you've been pretty definitive.
They can't get the Shia militias under control.
You've been definitive with us about the fact that you think it's a wasted cause. So given that, surely the next step is that they come home.
That would be the logical thing, but by the end of 2017, I don't think anybody can predict what the state
Okay, so you're not going to sit here today and give a commitment that you would bring the troops home if you were elected?
One possibility is that if the country is in a state of civil war, and even one of the extensions to the mission now is to train the federal police to do counter-terrorism, that's a long shot. If the country is in a state of civil war, there may need to be a peacekeeping mission embarked upon. Now, we have good experience. We're good at that sort of stuff. If there's a UN mandate to do so, we may well find ourselves needing to be there in that capacity.
Yeah, this is where I get personally quite confused, and hopefully you can clear it up for me, about your position. You're open to peacekeepers. You said in December of last year that you were open under the right conditions for the SAS, the elite combat troops of New Zealand, to go into theatre and actually in a combat role. And yet the thing you don't want is training, which seems to me to be at the lower end of what we could do.
It's not the training itself, it's who's being trained. It's the Iraqi, and I go back to the problem with the Iraqi army is that for a long, long time it has been poorly led. There are officers there who purchased their commission, paid money to be a senior officer in the Iraqi army. They're no more equipped to lead a bunch of soldiers than I am. But that's the way the Iraqi army operates. There are good people, in Iraq doing good things. Not many of them are in the Iraqi army. We have good troops up there, doing a great job training what they can, but even they express frustration about, the nature of the troops who are turning up.